and special called Committee of the Whole meeting for Monday, September 27th, 2021. The meeting is hereby called to order. Our second item on our agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes from our last meeting on September 13th. Are there any changes, or do we have a motion for approval?
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the minutes.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 So those minutes are approved. The consideration of the consent agenda, do any members of the committee have items that they would like to add to consent?
Yes, Madam Chair. I would like to put the following items on consent. On page 1, items 4, 5, and 6. On page 2, items 7, 8, and 9. On page 3, items 10, 11, and 12. On page 4, items 12 and 13. On page 6, items 18, 19, and 20.
Can you go back to page 4 again? Which item on 4?
On 4, 12, and 13.
12 and 13.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And not 14 and 15.
No.
Gotcha. Okay.
Page 6, items 18, 19, and 20. Page 7, items 21, 22, and 23. And then page 8, item 24.
Okay. Does anyone have any objections to any of the items that have been suggested for consent? Councilor Quinn, you're okay? Yes, ma'am. Okay. I'm going to read through the items that have been requested for consent so everyone can hear, and then we'll vote. Items 4 and 5 and 6 on page 1. Items 7 and 9 on page 2.
And 8. Discretionary funding.
Okay, well, I have a question to ask Chaz about that one, but Mr. Chaz, if I can ask you my question, we can leave it on consent, because I have a question mark here. This is paying David Russell, who's the head of the Port Authority, but this is for a separate job. Is that legal?
So I'm not really at liberty to say if it is or not, and I think that will probably be a conversation for an executive session to discuss that.
Okay, well, why is it on our agenda if the legal department hasn't approved it?
Well, it is approved to form in your packet, so I'm assuming that they looked at the transparency form and noticed that. So,
do you think they notice things like that? Well, that's a bad question. Well, I had a question about it because it seems a little iffy to me, but I'm not an attorney.
me either.
And I'm especially not a municipal attorney who has expertise in municipal law. So I
will say at least let us do our research before it comes to the actual council agenda, and then we'll give you a proper response.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't want it on consent because I'm not going to vote for it until we know. I mean, I really thought the legal people looked at these not just for form, but for legality.
Yeah, just give us some time to do our research before the council actually approves the item, and then we'll give you a report.
Okay, well, we'll just leave that one off consent. Okay, items, so on that page 2, items on consent are page 7 and 9. Then on page 3, items 10, 11, and 12. On page 4, items 13, well, item 13. on page 5, items 16 and 17.
We didn't put anything on consent on page 5.
Oh. And neither is item 15
No.
on page 4. And on page 6, items 18, 19, and 20. On page 7, items 21, 22, and 23. And on page 8, item 24.
Yes.
Okay, do we have a motion for approval?
I move for approval.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
So those items that we read are on consent, and if you're here for those items, you may leave unless you just want to listen to us talk. So, our first item is item 8. It's on page 2. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement with Synergy Consulting Group, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $47,000 to provide the following goods or services to the city: to provide consulting services that will assist the City of Birmingham Council District 9 constituents in community engagement efforts to promote and enhance growth and service within the City of Birmingham District 9. The fee for these services is not to exceed $47,000, inclusive of any reimbursable expenses. These services will begin September 14th, 2021, and conclude no later than June 30th, 2022. Said funds come from District 9 discretionary funds.
Move the item.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, well, if we have a motion, then we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I abstain. Okay, the next item on our agenda is item 14 on page 4. This is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Alabama High School Athletic Association, the Greater Birmingham Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center Authority. The AHSAA shall plan, implement, and host the AHSAA State Finals Basketball Championships in Birmingham at the BJCC for the 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026 basketball seasons. The championships are expected to bring an estimate of 2,000 student athletes plus additional fans, administrators, and officials. Over the past 5 years, the average tournament attendance is over 60,000 and daily attendance is over 10,000. This will create and foster community pride while providing recreation and entertainment opportunities for attendees, bring jobs, and have a positive economic impact for the city. Each year the championships are held in Birmingham, the city will provide financial incentives not to exceed $280,000 and in-kind services, such as public safety, in accordance with Amendment Number 772.
Move the item.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Who is going to talk to us about this today? Faye Oates. Remember, our microphone is very weak and pitiful, so you have to speak right into it.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Faye Oates, Office of Sports and Entertainment. This is the Final 56, which is kind of the marketing name for it. We do have 56 basketball, girls and boys basketball teams that come to Birmingham from around the state. Last year, if you all recall, the event had to be moved from the BJCC because the BJCC was under construction. So we're looking forward to the event being back at the BJCC in the newly renovated facility. It's a great event, a lot of buzz, And just to throw a little more in there, last year we had Carver High School girls were the champions, and Ramsey was in the event. So we expect to have a very good showing from our Birmingham City schools.
Great. Any questions?
No, I just want to applaud you all, honestly, because I know we have struggled to really keep it here, and there have been talks to try and move it from Birmingham, and this is one of our biggest events, so I want to applaud you all on the great work for keeping this here for another 5 years.
Thank you.
And we can't wait to see the renovations too, because that's going to be a big deal for everybody, whether they've been here or not, to see the newly renovated facilities over there.
And Madam Chair, I'd like to echo Ms. Smitherman's comments as well. Kudos to the team, because I know we did lose football, and so we're certainly excited to see that the basketball is continuing here in Birmingham for these number of years, so thank you.
No, we have.
And are we going to bring football back?
We already have it back.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll
Wonderful.
be back in December.
December,
and,
yeah.
And this event being done so well is
They brought it back.
probably
Wonderful.
the reason it brought it back.
That's very good. Thank you.
It's in rotation
Okay.
here between
Alabama.
Alabama,
Auburn
Auburn,
and now
and
Birmingham. Wonderful. Thank you.
Anything else before we vote? Okay, we have a motion on the table. All in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, so that item passes. Our next item is item 15, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute all documents required for the city to complete a grant application and a funding agreement with the Regional Planning Commission of Greater Birmingham under the Transportation Project Feasibility Studies, also known as Advanced Planning, Programming, and Local Engineering, or APPLE. The grant funds will be used for the new trails and sidewalk study project. The total project cost is $59,977.10, with a local match from the city in the amount of $11,995.42, and authorizes the mayor to take any and all actions and execute such other documents as are appropriate and necessary to make the application, accept and expend the grant funds in accordance with the grant terms.
Move the item.
Okay, it has been moved and properly seconded. Yes, sir.
Hello, councilors. I'm Samuel Parsons. I serve as an engineer with the Department of Transportation on behalf of Director James Fowler. And so this project is one of several projects that have taken shape in the Civil Rights District, in specific the 16th Street corridor, over the last few years. And this particular one is just a feasibility study to tee up the next phase of a pedestrian and streetscape improvement project along 16th Street. That's been identified by a few external partners like Urban Impact and some of their associated organizations as a potential signature street on the same lines as, say, 20th Street, to really bring out the value and enhance the remaining districts that it bisects, the Civil Rights District, the Theater District, Innovation District, ultimately connecting City Walk to Railroad Park. And this is just one way to get an engineer under contract to identify the constructability of some of those improvements. So it would be in partnership with the Regional Planning Commission, along with several of the APPLE studies that the city has conducted over recent years. And it would deliver a set of alternatives that the city could choose to whether or not to move forward with. Does that make sense?
Any questions? Will it also include a cost estimate of what it will take to do the different options that y'all come up with, or that they come up with? I guess the Regional Planning Commission is doing the work, so will they do cost estimates so we know how much money we need to go look for?
That's a great question. Yes, ma'am. There would be planning level cost estimates. It wouldn't be drilled down to the scale of something that would be construction ready, but it would give us a relative scale on what the alternatives would cost so that we could choose which ones would be more amenable to us.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready for our vote? Yes. No other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye. So that one passes, and we'll send that to the full council. Thank you very much. Our next item is item 16 on page 5. It is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a master contract for lighting services with Alabama Power, upon which APC will upgrade the existing interstate lights on I-5920 from Tallapoosa Street to the I-5920 split. The I-5920 Tallapoosa Interstate Lighting Upgrade. Under the agreement, the planned restoration project will include changing the fixture heads to LED, modifying or replacing all poles, bases, conduit fixtures, controls, and related items, changing the wiring over to aluminum instead of copper, and implementing several security strategies that will make the system more resistant to vandalism. The city shall pay APC the sum of $2 million, $1 million in the city's 2022 fiscal year, and $1 million in the city's 2023 fiscal year for the rebuild and upgrade. The city shall pay APC for ongoing power and general maintenance of the system for $7,702.26 per month. Do we have a motion?
Move the item.
Okay, we have a motion. Are there questions? I have a question.
How long will this take? What's the projected timeline?
Depending on how we move it through our process, we'll be coordinating with Alabama Power to move it forward in the next 6 to 9 months, so sometime by next summer.
Next summer, okay.
Okay, did you have questions?
Well, I did want to say that we had a Utilities Committee meeting last week, and we did have Alabama Power to provide us some updates on current ongoing projects and upgrades that were going on. And to my knowledge, this is like a new project or a new part of the phase of trying to upgrade the lighting. Or can you just explain a little bit more that could piggyback on
Sure.
what Alabama Power talked about during that meeting?
I can't speak too much to what was discussed in the utility meeting. I'm not as familiar, but I do know that this is a pilot project
Yes.
that Alabama Power is exploring with the city of Birmingham and a few other external partners. And it hasn't yet been done before in the state, but if it's successful here, they do want to export it out to several other municipalities around the state because this is not a unique situation to us.
Well, and I'm happy to see this, we're undertaking something like this. I don't know how many times we've had comments from residents about the lighting and what's going on the interstates. And so I was excited to hear mention of that during the utility meeting and to see it here now on the budget and finance agenda. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you. Well, my question is the same question I had last time we did this. How does this comport with the state bid laws? Because we have a public utility, which is a public utility controlled by the people in Montgomery. So how does this comport? I mean, how does this deal with our private businesses in the city of Birmingham that do this type of work?
That I am not able to explain at this moment, but I will confer with Director Fowler and get you a better answer for it.
Yeah, we'll get, because I believe this question has came up before, and I think it's an
It
exception.
has, and I didn't really feel like we got a very good answer. And I know that there are a lot of electrical contracting businesses in Birmingham that normally would bid on this work, I believe. And if we give it to a public utility that's regulated by the state, they have something of an advantage. And I think the answer last time is, well, Alabama Power will hire some of those local electrical contractors so it will all be okay. But it still doesn't sound, well, it might be legal. It doesn't sound fair to, you know, private businesses who are not subsidized, you know, like public utilities are. So
We'll get you an answer because I know it's an exception with dealing with public safety and public utilities. Then it's also, I know from the last conversation we had about this that, like to your point, they did say that they subcontract a lot of the work out to the lower subcontractors because Alabama Power doesn't have the capacity to do this with the workforce they have, so they do subcontract a lot of the work out. But I know it's because it's a package deal with the installation and everything with the power bill. We do get a discounted rate just for the utility costs.
Well, kind of like our park lighting deal. But,
Correct.
I got complaints from people in private business who said, what the heck are y'all doing? You're taking food out of my children's mouths. And so I just want to know how this works and make sure that we as a city are doing the right thing rather than just doing the easy thing, which I know we love. But clearly, since the state of Alabama has dumped the interstate lighting in our laps, we don't have any capacity either. So I just wanted to know, so you're going to
Yes, ma'am.
delve for answers. Okay, any other questions? So we are ready to vote. We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I abstain. So our next, and we'll send it to the full council, our next item is item 17. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the state of Alabama acting by and through the Alabama Department of Transportation, or ALDOT, and its transportation director, under which ALDOT shall grant to the city the sum of $500,000 to be used for the I-2059 Interstate Lighting Restoration Pilot Project from the Tallapoosa ramp to the I-5920 split. This is the I-5920 Tallapoosa Interstate Lighting Upgrade. Said sum shall be paid. This doesn't make any sense. Said sum shall be paid. Well, I'll just read what it says. Said sum shall be paid to the $500,000 in the city's fiscal year 2022, and authorizing the mayor to make any and all actions and execute such other documents as are appropriate and necessary to accept and expend the grant funds in accordance with the terms of the agreement. Hopefully y'all can fix the language so someone can read it and know what it says. I don't know how I missed that, because usually we correct all that stuff.
I think the word "to" should be "from."
Said sum shall be paid from the $500,000. Yes, you're right. That makes sense. Okay, do we have a motion?
Move the item.
Okay, we have a motion. Are there any questions regarding this item? So basically, you want to just tell us this is the money to help pay for this?
That's correct.
In a nutshell?
In a nutshell, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so any questions? No. Okay, we are ready to vote. We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And no one is opposed. So we will send that to the full council. And we are ready for a motion on item 25.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you. Oh.